Oh my God, man, you gave me a heart attack. What are you doing? I'm meditating. On the table? Shh. Quiet. I'm achieving spiritual enlightenment. What? Breathe in. Breathe out. All right, man, I'm gonna go have some peanut butter. What is up, YouTube? So today I thought it would be fun if we did a tier list ranking all of the most popular habits based on how influential they are in impacting other areas of your life in a positive way. So the tier list is going to go from God, S, A, B, C, D, and then F. And we're also going to have a tier where I don't really know what the habit is, or I don't know enough about it to actually rank it. So God is going to be absolutely essential habit, building it. It's going to help you in all other aspects of your life. It's going to make building other habits easy. Pretty much F tier is going to be not really where it's bad to have, but it doesn't really do anything at all to help in other aspects of life. So with that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so up first we have just the habit of drinking a little bit more water. So most people actually don't drink enough water at all. And the thing is, even if you don't feel thirsty, you can actually be dehydrated even without the feeling of thirst. So a lot of people just aren't drinking enough water, and it actually is just gonna put you in a bad mood. You're gonna have better looking skin. You're just gonna be drinking water is a great habit to build. I think I'm gonna put it in the B tier. Up next, we have cooking. Now, cooking is a great habit to do as a pastime. Getting food to taste good is gonna make it a lot easier to stick to a diet, or just to make other people like you more because you can cook good food. That is also a plus. But it's not absolutely essential because you can still buy foods elsewhere or buy pre-made things. It's a pretty good habit to build, so A tier. Okay, after that we have practicing music. Now this is a really good pastime habit to do because there's a potential for a career in being a really good musician, but the problem is it's extremely unlikely and you have to be incredibly good at the actual music that you're practicing, and you also have to get really lucky and just be talented in the first place. While it's still a great thing to do as a pastime instead of just like watching TV, it's not really doing anything else for you other than being a little bit relaxing, having a good time. It's not really helping you in other areas of life other than maybe playing in front of some of your family or friends. It's not essential, it's not bad. I'm gonna put it in the C tier. Okay, after that we have waking up early. Now you might think this is really a really good habit, but the thing is, it's not a good habit to build if you don't wake up early. Because if you're just set and you're used to your entire life waking up really late, you should not build this habit. It's not gonna work out for you. I'm actually gonna put it in the F tier just because it's literally not applicable to like half the people in the world. Next up, we have reading. And guys, I cannot say this enough. Reading, and I'm counting audiobooks in this as well, reading is pretty much one of the best things that you can do for yourself. Build up your knowledge, and you can attain stuff that you didn't have to actually experience what they experienced yourself to be able to learn it. God tier habit easily. If you read, it's gonna improve every other aspect of your life. Audiobooks are great because you can listen to them when you're doing mundane tasks that don't require much thought, like cleaning. You're gonna just learn so much over your lifespan and is going to be so helpful in improving your life. Okay, next up we have keeping a diary. Now, I don't really have anything against keeping a diary. I like to keep more of a journal. So it's totally fine to build it, but I don't think it's like essential habit to build, which is why I'm going to put it in the C tier. Next up we have listening to podcasts. Now, just like reading, this is absolutely great because you're going to be able to learn stuff. You're gonna be able to do it while you're maybe driving, but I'm not gonna put it as high as reading. And the reason is because podcasts, it's kind of like watching television where it's fun to do and it's interesting while you're doing it, but it doesn't have a huge positive effect on the rest of your life like reading. Now, it's still great, probably I'd say a B tier. It's definitely not as good as reading or listening to audiobook. Okay, doing your chores. Now, this might not seem like an amazing habit, but it is absolutely essential because if you do your chores, you're gonna have time to do all this other stuff that you wouldn't have been able to do before. And also, doing your chores allows you to have a time where you're doing something mundane, it doesn't take much thought, so you can listen to audiobooks and maybe get some, valuable stuff doing that while you're doing the chores. So doing chores is actually gonna be A tier. It's not amazing, but it's definitely pretty darn good. Okay, next up we have dancing. Now, this is pretty much just like practicing music. It's fun, it's relaxing, but there's very low chance that you're actually gonna be able to do something with it. So it's not really bad in any way. It's better than watching television, but just like practicing music, not really good either. So I'm gonna have to put it in the C tier. Next up we have resting your eyes. Now, this is kind of just like a really small habit that you can, maybe if you're on the screen all the time, because a lot of people nowadays are looking at screens a lot, you just look to your side, look into an object 20 feet away and just focus on it. And it's gonna make your eyes feel a lot better over the day. But I find that it's a lot better to just reduce your screen time in the first place than learning to have a habit of resting your eyes, which is why it's not really essential to build, and I'm probably gonna put it in the B tier because it's still good, but it's not like an essential habit to build at all. Next up, we have positive affirmations. Now, I'm all for having a positive self-introspection and really loving yourself, but I don't think writing down positive affirmations every single morning is really gonna do much. I think it's better to fix the problem in the first place than just tell yourself that you're good and not do anything about the problems that led to you being sad in the first place. So I'm gonna have to put it in the D. Next up, we have bullet journaling. So this is definitely my preferred method of, as per se, to diary, because bullet journaling, if you write down to-do lists and also write down maybe any ideas or thoughts that you have, you actually can free up space in your mind because you literally have mental energy that you have throughout the day, and it wanes from having to keep all this information in your head. So if you're constantly keeping everything that you have to do in your head and just storing all information up there, you're gonna have a lot less mental energy to do other better things with your time. 100% a S tier habit. Being mindful of your posture, this is another just pretty good habit to have. I mean, it's not like absolutely essential because I feel like being mindful of your posture is pretty easy to do anyway. Something that's really easy to build, you should build it, everyone should build it, but it's not really gonna have that much of an effect on your life once you do build this habit. So I'm gonna have to put it in the C tier. Next up, we have watching self-improvement videos. Now, this is actually really good if you're trying to improve yourself, but the one problem I have with self-improvement videos is I actually think a lot of people that watch them don't actually implement what they hear in the video into their life. So this is actually kind of a self-improvement video in itself, and a lot of people just watch this for entertainment rather than actually take into account the habits that are higher up and prioritizing those over ones lower down. So while I do think it's great to watch self-improvement videos, it's not gonna have a massive effect on the rest of your life as to reading and listening to audiobooks instead for your self-improvement. So with that being said, I think it's still quite good to do, so I'm gonna put it in the B tier. Next up, we have studying. Now, school is very important, and I find that studying is gonna help you do better on tests and in school in general. And while I don't think that what you learn in school is that important in and of itself, the very act of studying and learning to do something that you don't necessarily want to. Also, you need to do good in school to actually get into a good college and do better later on in life. So even though I don't really like studying myself, I am actually going to put it in the A tier. It is quite a good habit to build. You need to study. Next up, we have practicing a skill. Now, without a doubt, practicing a skill, and this is like editing or doing a skill that not many people have, is incredibly important, because if you get good enough at that skill, it's not like practicing music where you have to be so much better than everyone else because a lot of people like to play music. Practicing a skill is a little bit more fine-tuned. Oftentimes the skill that you're practicing, there's really not that many people doing it in the first place, so it's not as competitive as with something like trying to do really well in a sport or something like that. So practicing a skill not only is going to be good to serve as a pastime and also get better at something, but you might have a career path with that skill later on, and it's not as unlikely to feed into something as something like practicing music or trying to get really good at a certain sport. So practicing a skill is easily going in the S tier. Next up, we have grooming. This is just like the other habits, like drinking more water or having better posture. So grooming is probably gonna go in the same as drinking water. Overall, just good to have. You should definitely do it. B tier. Next up, we have making your bed. This is, again, just like the other habits, really easy to do, but it's not gonna influence building other habits that much. So it's gonna have to go in the D tier because it just doesn't have that big of an effect on your life. Next up, we have being mindful of your words. So this is something that I actually would argue is both important and unimportant at the same time, because I find a lot of people are too concerned with what other people think about them. And that leads to stress. It leads to you all the time trying to make yourself look as good as possible, trying to make sure that you're not in any way harming anyone or offending anyone. And being mindful of your words is good to make sure that you don't do any of those things. You also have to remember, nobody cares, okay? Life is not about appeasing everyone. Being mindful of your words is good in some cases, but bad in others, which is why I'm actually gonna put it in the D tier. Next up, we have meditation. Now, this is one that I can't really speak for too well because I have started to meditate a bit, but I'm not far enough to see the benefits that much. That being said, this might be a little controversial. It's going in the God tier because meditation is incredibly hard to build. Just like reading, once you build it, it's so hard to build that it makes all other habits easier to build. And meditation itself, I've heard, and I'm gonna go off of what people say it does to actually like rank this, is it'll put you more in tune with your actual mental state. So you'll know when you're in a bad mood, you'll know how to change yourself into a good mood, and you'll overall just be a happier person. It's a great habit to build. It's gonna help you in all other aspects of life. And cold showers. Now, I love cold showers. I and my brother have actually started to do them. It's not for the cold showers themselves, like the health benefits you get from them of why it's a good habit to build. It's the fact that it's the single easiest thing that you can do in your house that steps you the most out of your comfort zone. Because as soon as you step into that shower, or right before actually, there's this incredible sense of just jarring, oh my God, I don't want to do this. And it really teaches you to step out of your comfort zone, which actually helps you in all other aspects of life, because getting in that cold shower and stepping out of your comfort zone is going to teach you to do that in other areas of life where you wouldn't normally do that. So cold showers are actually going to go in the S tier. I think they're that good to build. Next up, we have getting sunlight. This is a fantastic habit to build. Everyone should be getting sunlight, because not only is it good just because it's nice to be in the sun, you know, you're outside. You can be next to a window, hell, all I care. You can still get sunlight like that, but it actually helps your sleep as well, which is important for literally all other aspects of life. Because when you get more sunlight, your body makes more cortisol in the morning, which is gonna wake you up, so you'll feel more awake during the day. And getting sunlight also helps your body realize when it's actually starting to become night, so melatonin and serotonin can be built, and then you'll actually get better sleep because of that. Sunlight is incredibly important. It is going into the A tier because it's great. Next up, we have writing. So writing is another really good habit to build, but just like practicing music or dancing, it's really niche and hard to get incredibly good at. And while it's helpful for all other aspects of life, and I would argue more than practicing music or dancing, it's still probably not gonna be a career choice for you because there are lots of people that can write. Still not gonna influence that much else of life, which is why I'm only gonna put it in the B tier. Next up, we have exercise and fitness. I think this is obviously, without a doubt, God tier. It is incredibly hard to build, but once you do, you will be able to have so much more discipline in other areas of life. You'll be able to build other habits so much easier. You will feel better, you will look better, you will just be in a better mood all the time, because exercise seriously is the key to happiness. Next up, we have sleeping early. I'm not gonna say much about this. It's the exact same as waking up early. There's nothing inherently better about it. I like to just go to sleep earlier and wake up earlier. That's just how I am. It's only a D tier habit. It's really not that important. Next up, we have eating on time / fasting. Now, this is just for people that are on like a diet regimen, like intermittent fasting or something like that. I do think it's a good idea to spread out your meals, because eating just one meal a day or just not eating, which is obviously bad, it's really not giving your body enough nutrition and calories for having energy all throughout the day. A good habit to build, it's not essential, so I'm gonna put it in the D tier. Next up, we have studying a language. Now, this is just like practicing music and dancing. It's fun to do, it's good to have, but it's not that big of a deal. The only way that I could see it being essential is if it's English. Most people pretty much speak it in the world other than Mandarin. And also it has the most money potential that you can earn if you know English because it's the biggest market. So I think I'm gonna put it in the B tier. Next up, we have budgeting/tracking finances. Now, this is really only applicable once you're older. It's really good to have when you're young as well, but it's gonna become much more important once you actually become an adult. That being said, it is incredibly important to be good at budgeting and financing because it is gonna allow you to have money, which is gonna help you in all other aspects of life and just make you generally happier. Now, that being said, money is not everything, but budgeting and finance and being able to have money is gonna help you take the blows of other problems or things that come up in life. So it's 100% going in the S tier, more applicable to adults though. Next up, we have visualizing. Now, this is gonna be a habit that I can't really speak for, so I'm gonna have to put it in the unknown because I've never tried it before. I don't really know much about it. Let's go on to the next one. Next up, we have working. Now, it's quite obvious working has to be a God tier habit because working or doing stuff that is gonna earn you money or doing stuff that you don't necessarily wanna do, that being said, you should like to work, otherwise it's gonna be incredibly hard to, it's just gonna help you in all other aspects of life because it's hard to work, it's gonna help you build other habits, and it's gonna earn you money, which like the previous budgeting and finance, is gonna help you take the other blows of life. So easily God tier. And socializing. Socializing is incredibly important. Your mental health is literally one half of the picture, and socializing is just a great way to get outside, go out, meet some friends, talk. It's just gonna put you in a better mood. So it's easily another God tier habit. You need to socialize. And last but certainly not least, we have stretching. Now, stretching isn't absolutely essential, but it is a really good habit to build because a lot of people don't realize how important it is to stretch until they get older in life and their bones feel like shit. So you should definitely be stretching after your workouts. It doesn't have to be long. It can be 5 minutes, doing yoga in the morning. Stretching is great. It's gonna make you feel better. It's gonna make your joints not hurt as much. It's gonna put you in a better mood. It's gonna let you work out more. It's a great habit to build. It is going in the A tier. All right, that's gonna wrap up the video, guys. I hope you agreed or liked my actual rankings of these habits. So I hope you got something from this, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Have a great day. Make sure you like and subscribe. Check out my other videos. I'll see you in the next one.